Hello guys, today we are going to walk you through the iBranch HR management system. The first thing that you have to do is open your browser. Then you are going to search on Google iBranch recruiters. So you are just going to click on that result. You are going to look on the left side. There is a HR section here. You click on it and here's all the HR functions that you can access. We're going to click main menu. So main menu will give us access to all the HR tools that we can use on this particular recruitment platform. The first thing we see is the recruit talent tool. So this is the tool that we can use to start your recruitment process. This also will touch more on it. This one is mass recruitment. If maybe you have over 20 vacancies, you want to work on those all at once, this is where you can just do that in bulk. This is where you can now manage those applications. This is where you can manage the interviews. We also have HR documents. That's where you can now download all the essential documents related to recruitment. That's where you can onboard your new hire. That's where you can now manage your talent pool. Let's say, for example, you have CVs in-house. You want to import them into our system. This is where you can do it. Then you can filter and manage those candidates at your own convenience. The talent pool obviously is exclusive to you as the owner. It is essentially a database within our own database, but of course it is exclusive to you. Here is where you can discover all the talent that is within our database, external talent that we have registered. Here is where you can manage roles like adding team members, senior HR, junior HR, HR team. This is where it all happens. This is where you can now integrate a career site. You can integrate this portal, our portal, into your own website. Other companies do that, whereby maybe they have a website, then a vacancy section. When you click on that vacancy section, you will see a list of jobs. But it will be difficult for you to notice that those jobs that are appearing on their website are coming from external platform. So basically that was what we refer to as a career site being integrated into a website of the employer. You can also do more, like customizing your URL. It can be company URL, vacancies. You can also do more, like customizing the colors, the buttons, etc. At the bottom here, we have compliance information like legal documents, frequently asked documents, or just the manuals on how to go about each and every tool here. So we are going to start with the first tool, that is the recruitment tool. So on the recruitment tool, this is where we are going to start now creating a job. We have to select which candidates we are interested in. For this particular case, let's go for graduates. Now we have to enter the job title. You can also check availability of talent here. This one is crucial for companies which are urgently hiring. This is where you can now select and see whether we have such candidates within our system. So for now, we are just going to look for an accountant. Now here you can see the system is saying to us that there is a template that we can use for accountant positions. This is basically to save us time, because as you can see, there are 5 forms here. So now we have applied a template. We are expecting a faster turnaround time. That's why we can put a job reference. Already it has been put. We are just going to update it. The job location is Gaborone. That's fine. No need to change. The job industry that we are recruiting under, which is finance. This is crucial because the system will target candidates under this particular industry using AI. That is why we are asking for this information. Also, you can specify the employment type. In this particular case, a contract, it's a 1-year contract. But you can specify if it's permanent, part-time, probation, that can be specified. The next form, this is where now you tell us, or maybe tell the system, which candidate you are interested in. All this information is visible to the system. It's not visible to the candidates themselves. It is basically for the system to know what candidates you want it to target. Because at the end of the day, once you manage these applicants, we want you to be in a better position to filter them according to your own preferences. The first question says, can physically challenged apply? Yes, they can apply. Which qualifications are we interested in? You can just go for bachelor. Let me just remove all of this. Already they were put because of that template. So you can just say Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting. Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting. That's fine. We can just say Bachelor of Finance. You can just say AAT. You can just abbreviate it as such. You can also go for BICA, or maybe not. Let's just go for ACCA. So you can only put a maximum of 5 qualifications here so that you don't over broaden our scope. I think this is fine here. Now we are going to specify the faculty of study. That is all these qualifications. Which faculties do they fall under? Obviously, a lot of them fall under finance and accounting, but you can choose from a list. We have business, we have education, so we will just select accounting. That's fine. Then we are looking for people with degree or diploma. That is fine here. It has been specified. We can add masters, but for now it's not necessary. Here we can choose a salary scale. Currently it is in dollars because this recruitment platform is for international use. We are not only limited to Botswana, hence why we had to specify a country here at the top here. So if we were maybe recruiting for Zimbabwe nationals, this is where we'll change the information. So now going back to the salary scale. So basically there's our budget, or maybe there's the compensation that we are willing to disclose. We can disclose it to the candidates, but for this particular case, we'll just disable that. So if it is disabled, this information will only be used by our system to vet the candidates. What do I mean by this? Whenever candidates register on our portal, we do ask them, what is your preferred salary scale? Normally some people will just reject jobs based on salary scale, especially if they have higher experience. So rather than target those particular candidates, we ask them up front so that going forward we know which jobs they are qualified for in that regard. So in this particular case, we'll just select $10 US, $1,000 US to 5,000 US dollars. That's approximately 10,000 to 50,000. That is our range. At the bottom here we have the skill set. This is where we are going to put the practical skills that we are targeting. So I don't see accounting here. I'm going to add it. I don't see bookkeeping. I don't see. I think it's fine. For the purpose of this exercise, it's fine. So the system will obviously look for candidates with the skills. Even when we filter, we'll have access to use this particular skills to filter. You may realize that we are not putting skills like team player, communication skills. No, we are not doing that. You can, but we are not doing that because we want to focus only on practical skills. So that when we filter by bookkeeping, it will give us only bookkeeping candidates. So here we can put the advert experience, the candidate experience. We're just going to limit it to 2. I think 2 and above is fine. Now here we are going to describe the job, that is the deadline. We're just going to put August 30. Okay, it says there is a possible duplication. Possible duplication means that we once published this particular job before. So you can either proceed with that knowledge or we can move on to another job. This is very useful when you are dealing with a team. Another HR officer is dealing with the same job. So this is where we catch duplication issues. So I think we can just say proceed, because if I remember, prior to this exercise, we tested with another job. That is the one that is referring to, but it has been deleted. So going back to the deadline topic, you can choose any date here as long as it has not come to pass. You can also choose up to 3 months. Anything beyond 3 months we do not accept, but you can always choose any date, then you can always update that particular date. So here, this is where we're going to put on the job description. Automatically the system will just use all the information we have been entering to come up with a job description, as you can see. So it is up to you to update this section like this, or you can leave it as it is, or maybe you came here already having an advert in a PDF format that you want to import here. You can just do that by using this button here. Then you click upload, you select your PDF. So here I just selected a random advert. So the system will upload it, pass it, then it will put it here for us. So we can just format to make things tidy. And we are done. As you can see, we have saved ourselves enormous time, because normally we'll have to manually enter the details, which is a bit time consuming. So because I used a random advert that is not related to accounting, I'm just going to undo here so that we can use this one instead. On this particular section, it's going to ask us, do you want to manage candidates within our portal, or do you want to redirect them to your own email? So by default, if you say no, we expect you to maybe put a recruitment email here, or send to email. Then you say recruitment. You can put any recruitment email that you have in house. That is basically what we are expecting, so that candidates can forward their applications to that email. But there are instances where you don't want email applications in your email. So this way I'm going to choose yes, to say I only want to manage candidates within my system only. So this is where you say yes, and yeah, but obviously we'll expect you to remove this email here so that all the applications go through our portal. As you can see, we have already put a link to our portal here. Candidates will be directed to this portal to apply. So here, this one is if you have enabled candidates to apply via email and you have a specific format for how the email subject should be constructed. This way you can just put it in here. For example, you can use autocomplete. So in this particular case, we want applicants to put as a subject accountant position dash your name. This is how we want them to apply. Similarly, we can put the address here. This is very useful, especially for government recruitment processes, where you want the application letter to be addressed to a specific department. So this is why we are going to do it here. Good. So candidates will use this address in the application letter. They will use this subject in their email subject. Now we are on the last form. This is where you can put pre-assessment questions. What do we mean by pre-assessment questions? These are questions that you can filter out candidates with. For example, so all these questions, candidates will have to answer them prior to submitting their applications. For example, you can say, do you have over 5 years of experience in the accounting industry with at least 2 years in senior management? So this is a question. Anyone who answers yes will be allowed to proceed. Anyone who answers yes will be moved out. So this is where we can select the answer out of these two options here. Which one is correct? So we say option number 2, which is this one here. So anyone who goes for option number 1, which is no, they will be rejected. You can also preview the question here to see how it looks. That's basically how the candidates will see the question when they apply. Do you have over 5 years of experience in the accounting industry with at least 2 years experience in senior management role? So anyone with a no obviously is incorrect. Everyone with a yes, this is correct. So these are useful for if you want to narrow down your scope. Of course, you can include as much questions as you want, but for this particular exercise, we're just going to limit ourselves to only one question. Now, this is the final section where we submit the job, as you can see. So here we're just going to explain what we're going to expect. Firstly, we want you to preview the job to ensure everything is okay. That's what you can use it here to preview. But it's fine, you don't need to preview it. I think it's fine. We have confirmed everything is fine. Once you're happy with the preview, you can submit the job. That's where you submit the job here. Upon submission, the job will be published immediately on our job board or this portal, on social media, through SMS and also through email. So for social media, you can, there's the button here for social media. Basically what we're saying is that The job will be advertised on our job board or this portal, and also it will be advertised on social media using our own Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads accounts. But you can disable it here. This is useful for companies who have in-house graphic designers that can use the link to the job or to the application link and create their own advert. Then they circulate it through their own platforms. But you don't have time for that. You can just tick this box. So we'll just turn it off, so that the publishing is only limited to our portal, not social media. Once the advert is published, you can download the advert. You can also copy the link. So this advert is for your own records. You can copy the link for your own records again. You can also manage applicants who apply, or maybe who have been recommended, because we give you access to two types of candidates. Those whom we recommend. This one is very useful for agent hiring. We also give you access to candidates who applied manually. So this is where you can manage both. You can also onboard the new hire, etc. You can also save this draft if you want to continue later. You can also post anonymously. This is very useful for big brands who don't want candidates to bombard them with emails, inquiries, and all that. So what it will do, it will subtract your brand name, your images, anything to do with your brand will be subtracted from the advert. We will only publish the job description as well as the links, but people will never know who is hiring. This is very useful, but for now we're just going to turn it off and submit our job. So it asks us to confirm. So we confirm everything is okay. As you can see, everything is okay. The job has been published. We can download the advert, we can copy the link, we can view the job, we can add a new job. So for now, let's start first by copying the link. Then we'll open a new tab. So here it is, an accountant with all our job description. Everything is fine. Country is Botswana, location is Gaborone, employment type is one contract, deadline is in 1 week. Candidates can apply here. So this is the metrics that we normally show to candidates, just to help them with transparency issues. For example, they can see how many people have applied, etc. You can turn this off as the owner of the advert, but for now I think it's fine. It's just the way I think all other portals do that. LinkedIn, you can see how many people clicked, how many people applied, how many people the employers shortlisted, etc. So it's just fine. It's just for educational purposes and for transparency, which candidates really value. There's the employer background. So for now, there's the account that we are logged in with. In your case, it will be your own account, your own image, your own information. Here is where the admin panel, you can manage applicants, you can edit the job, or you can maybe delete it. Here is where candidates can comment about this particular vacancy, similar to how LinkedIn does it. People can comment, tag others, share the job, etc. So now we are going to go back menu. Now that the job has been published, this is where now we are going to manage the applicants. We click here. Now you can see here is our job, accountant, 3 minutes ago, still open. We choose it. That's the job we want to manage. Now as you can see, we have 2 sections here, this section and this section. This section says recommended. Basically it means we have 594 candidates who match this job. We also have 0 who have applied manually. So this one will increment as time goes on, as people know about this job, they will apply for it, etc. This is the recommended candidates. This is our short list. This is the interview list. This table here has 5 buttons. You can view a detailed version. A detailed version will show us all these things here: gender, employment type, industry. So all these are things that you can filter the candidates with. For example, skills. Skills here it says no, because this particular candidate doesn't have any skills that we have specified. Yes means they do have it. Similarly, experience means they have over 2 years of experience. No means they don't have. I think you get the picture. So let's keep it basic. And icons here basically means that instead of using yes or no, you can just use these icons. This is the rating, or before that, filter means this is the filter that you can use to filter this table. You can filter by candidates who applied manually, so that you eliminate anyone who has been recommended by the system. You can filter by candidates matching with experience, 2 years of experience plus. Anyone with less years experience will be eliminated. This is also useful for candidates who have applied manually, because you can have a candidate trying their luck, so the system will automatically catch that, eliminate them. You have a lot of filters. You can filter by gender, you can filter by skills. There are a lot of filters that you can make use of. So for this particular case, we will not be filtering. You can also download this table in an Excel file. It will include all this information that you can see here, so that you can use it offline. So on this table we have the first candidate. There is a rating which is 99.9, 95. So this is out of 100%. So you can just click on the candidate to see why they are rated at 99. Then you can choose to view their. This is Beverly's CV. For data protection purposes, I scrolled down so that her contact details are not visible. But I think you get the picture. This is information. This is as far as I can share with you. Her ID is here also. But for data protection purposes, this is how you can view someone's documents. You can also have them in a full screen. You can download them for offline usage. Okay, now you can do the same across, but in the case of Beverly, you were able to see that she's an accountant. She has all the qualities of an accountant. So this is how you can manage candidates. Obviously, you can select another candidate and say add to shortlist. So because there's a long list, the 500 is a long list. So to keep up, you can just utilize the short list to add candidates there, so that you can now manage the short list in order to make the final selection, which is the interview list. So let's say we are interested in interviewing Huitsone. We just we can do a further due diligence by calling her, or if you are happy, we can now add her into the interview list. So now we go here, this is the interview list. We have Huitsone. We are happy with her. We can either call her, say come for an interview. We can also email her. We can send her a message, or maybe if we have already reached an agreement with her, we can onboard her. So in this particular case, we can send an email. Our email can be sent in bulk. In bulk, what do we mean? For example, here it says send email to Huitsone, but if you had 5 candidates, you will just say include all the other candidates. For example, let me just add more so that you can see what we are talking about. Let's add Bakan here and Numi. Okay, then we can now move them to the interview list. Okay, this is good. So now here we go back to email. That's where we can now say send this particular email to Huitsone and 2 others. Use my email. This is our email. You can change it, but this is our email, the email that we'll be sending from. So the email subject, we can just use this button here. Interview invitation for position of accountant. So we can also use this, the email's body. So in the email body, we can also use the autocomplete. So here the candidate will see an email saying, dear Huitsone, just our name. It is Huitsone, it is Nomi, it is Bonolo. The system will automatically replace this block here with their name. Dear Huitsone, August, interview for, as you can see. So you can manipulate or update this. This is very useful if you don't have time to download the table in an Excel file, then extract the emails, then you have to send an email by yourself. This is very useful for people like that. You can just send a mass email to those candidates. Normally we said there's a $1 charge here. So basically what we mean is that we don't want you to send multiple emails, maybe sending the same email to Huitsone 5 times. That can be considered as a spam. So to ensure that people who use this particular facility are those who really want to use it, that is why we are putting a $1 charge to ensure that those who pay for it know that they are utilizing it well, since they have paid for it. Anyone who has the intent to use this maliciously for spamming purposes might not find it worth it to pay this $1 charge just to spam people. So this $1 charge is basically put there for this particular purpose. It is not to make money out of it, but to protect emails of our candidates. I think this sums up the recruitment tool. We can also have a look at the onboarding. The onboarding section is where you can so there's a timeline of what to do when you onboard a new candidate. Basically you have to send them an offer letter. Normally with the updated Employment Act, you might not know what to add, so this is what we have put this for. So you can download a sample of a letter in a Microsoft Word format. You can download NDAs, contract policies. So this is how you are going to send emails. For example, before they arrive, you send a welcome email. You assign them a mentor who can now ensure that they are settled in. You can create an email address for them. So basically, it's just a guideline to onboard your candidate. We have provided you with sample email templates to ensure that you do this in the most professional manner possible, whether you have an in-house HR or not. This will meet professionalism standards. You can also utilize the hiring documents section or tool. That's where you can find all the useful documents: offer letter, contract, NDA, payslip generator, employee policy. You click download, then you can just edit. We have what we saw there was the mass recruitment form. That's where you can put as much adverts as possible, but we'll cover this one in a separate video because it's similar to what we have covered in this particular tool. Also in this particular tool, one thing we didn't focus on was the headhunting feature. There are instances whereby you don't want to create an advert, but you want to headhunt. So this is where you can do it. Now it says headhunting. What are you headhunting for? Graduates, etc. So going back, we're going to continue. So this is the talent pool management. You can create your own talent pool here. For example, you have created a talent pool for future opportunities. There's information about the talent pool. This was testing. We're testing for using Alpha Direct's existing talent pool. So don't mind the name Alpha Direct there. It also shows you the number of candidates. We can manage this pool, but because we are the owner, there are things we cannot see, like join. There should be a join button here. So that's why you can also onboard, or maybe take your existing CVs, export them into this pool so that you can filter them using those filtering methods we covered. Now we are back. Here we can discover the talent that is within our database. This is just the external advert that iBranch Recruiters has. We have attachees, interns, graduates, etc. For attachees, we can just have a look at, for example, we have Bondle here. Yeah, for data protection purposes, I also scrolled down. So this is Bondle's attachment letter from her school. She's looking for an attachment, etc. So you can send her an offer through the system. Then you can submit that offer. So basically, these are other aspects that we'll cover on independent videos, but basically that is the talent that we have in our database. We have students, we have interns, graduates, etc. This is very useful for agent hiring. For example, with graduates, you can just have a look. There's a 40-year-old from Charavan Brigade. She has a certificate in accounting. This one is a 34-year-old from Moto University with honors degree in business management. So etc, etc. You can see, you can appreciate this in a separate video. For now, we are trying to compress as much information about the HR tools that we have in house. So now we're going to move on to managing roles. This is where you can search. For now, this account is not managed by anyone, but you can invite people to manage this account on your behalf. Similar to what Facebook, LinkedIn do, you have admin, then you have the editors, etc. So it's pretty much simple. You just click on invite a user, then you have to specify their role. Is it a standard user, editor, or a viewer? We have a manual. There's a manual here that you can refer to should you need more info. Then here we have the career site that we were talking about. Career site, like I said, is a portal that candidates can go through to find jobs for a particular company. Normally, they'll go to iBranch recruiters.com. This is where they'll find opportunities for all the companies registered with us. But a career site is different because it focuses on a single entity. So as you can see, we have links here. This link is for this account. It's externaljobs.com, company, external vacancies, Botswana. So this will be your own name here, your own names here. By default, these two are free. You can just utilize these free links for free. But if you want a custom link, that's when you can go here, customize the link. Then you can enter your own link. For example, I'll use a parastatal in Gaborone that is well known. You can just say cedar. So this is how it will look like, cedar.externalvacancies.com or external vacancies company cedar. So as you can now see, this is very customized. People have a hard time distinguishing between the fact that is this portal made by SIPA or are they integrating an existing portal? It will be difficult for them to differentiate because integration is all about making something part of another with clear distinction. So you can also put your own homepage here, then you can submit that particular career site. So our career sites costs, there's a charge for that, which is $49. That's almost 600 pula per year. Just pay once a year, then you have access to all the tools that we have discussed. Okay, now we're going to move on branding. So for branding, this is where you can integrate the career site. That's where you take the code, you give it to your software developer, then they'll put this in your website. Then the system will be integrated into your own website. Through this method, you don't really need to pay for this one because you are embedding the system in your own already existing website. So people will always go to cedar.com, then /vacancies. They will see the jobs under cedar coming from us, but in a manner that cannot be distinguished. You can also customize the colors. You can customize the color of the buttons. For example, you can say red. Then you can also customize secondary colors to maybe blue. Then you can submit. So I think this concludes our demonstration for the recruitment portal. It's free to use. You simply go to iBranchrecruiters.com. Once you are there, you register your company,